A very warm welcome to all of you in Department of Radiation Oncology, Government Doon Medical College, Dehradun. Today we are going to discuss the management of hormone receptor positive metastatic breast cancer. Dr. Gaurav Gupta will present the fine details of management of hormone receptor positive metastatic breast cancer.
Good morning to all. Today I am presenting a seminar on metastatic hormone receptor positive breast cancer management. In post, I am discussing with you discussing primarily the premenopausal patient and postmenopausal patient. So, the how will we approach the patient when the patient come in OPD with metastatic disease hormonal receptor positive, whether it is previously treated or not treated, it is hormone receptor positive. First, when patient comes, if there is biopsy, initially patient came with biopsy and IHC, it is ER/PR positive. So the guidelines is that if there is previously it is ER/PR positive, we have to re-evaluate the ER/PR status. If it is there is more chances of changes of ER positive to ER negative, or ER negative to ER positive. I will discuss it later. So we have to check the menopausal status, whether the patient is more than 60 years or less than 60 years. So what is the definition of menopause? If the patient has bilateral oophorectomy, no menstrual period in preceding 12 months, or patient has absence of chemotherapy, ovarian suppression, or on tamoxifen, serum estradiol level should be checked in postmenopausal patient. If it is around 30 to 400 nanogram per ml, then a patient is in premenopausal range. If it is less than 30 nanogram, then patient is in postmenopausal range. So it is very important. We have to check the menopausal status to plan the management. So as I discussed earlier, what is the definition of ER positivity according to the SCOP and CAP guidelines? CAP is College of American Pathologists guidelines. It is categorized into 0%, 1 to 9%, more than 10%. And PIK3CA testing is also done nowadays, which is the recent criteria, and is deciding for the management of metastatic breast cancer. Chemotherapy is decided. So in most of the patients, there are chances of changes of ER positivity to changes to negative. There is around 24% chances that most of the ER positive tumors can convert to negative tumors. Similarly, if there are 14% chance, if ER negative, initially in biopsy there is ER negative, patient was treated according to ER negative, now it is converted to ER positive. There are 14%. So we do not want to lose this 14% of patient. Similarly, in PR positivity, there are chances, 46% of chances that ER positive changes to ER negative, and ER negative changes to ER positive around 15% chance, and HER2 negative in positive HER2 positive tumor can convert to HER2 negative tumor in around 13% of patients. Similarly, in ER negative patient can convert to ER positive in 5% of patients. So we can see that all which are initially the patient which is TNBC can be converted to ER positive, PR positive, or HER2 positive in 5% of patients. So it is very important. Now, what are the options left in HER2 positive breast cancer according to the NCCN guidelines 2020? What are the options we have? In endocrine therapy, we have tamoxifen, which is a selective estrogen receptor modulator, and is frequently used nowadays in adjuvant setting, adjuvant hormonal as well as in metastatic hormonal positive patient. Aromatase inhibitor in postmenopausal patient as a major role, anastrozole, letrozole, exemestane, fulvestrant, CDK4 by 6 inhibitor, palbociclib, ribociclib, abemaciclib, and PIK3, which I have discussed earlier, which is now a game changer in metastatic hormone receptor breast cancer, alpelisib, buparelizumab, and mTOR inhibitor, which is everolimus. Now, what is the mechanism of action of these drugs on ER receptors? Discussing the major what are the mechanism of action, aromatase inhibitor and tamoxifen, and all these drugs which I have discussed. Now, what is the tamoxifen? Tamoxifen is a SERM estrogen receptor modulator, selective estrogen receptor modulator. It acts on the, it has a both agonistic and antagonistic activity in breast. So they suppresses the ER signaling by endocrine therapy hypothesized by PIK3, AKT or mTOR, and also act on RAS, RAF, MAPPK pathway. The estrogen which I am discussing is the tamoxifen. It acts on the estrogen receptor and has agonistic and antagonistic activity. And similarly, how these aromatase inhibitor act, which is divided into first, second and third generation. The aromatase inhibitor acts on the androgen pathway, and it inhibits the aromatase enzyme. By inhibiting aromatase enzyme, the level of hormonal is decreased in the body. Similarly, now we are discussing the PIK3 inhibitor, which is a non-ligand binding drug. This has a major role in heavy metastatic burden disease. It does not act on the hormone receptors. It acts on the PIK3 receptor. By acting on the PIK3 receptor, it inhibits the phosphorylation, so that the ATP is not converted into the ADP. So this has the major activity. And other drug like mTOR inhibitor, everolimus, it acts on the mTOR pathway, and by acting on mTOR pathway decreases the cell proliferation and differentiation. Similarly, the other drugs which are CD4 kinase inhibitor, they have a major role, palbociclib, ribociclib. It also inhibits the cell cycle. They are cell cycle inhibitor. Now these are the drugs. Tamoxifen, there are major trials which compare tamoxifen versus aromatase inhibitor, tamoxifen versus letrozole, tamoxifen versus exemestane, tamoxifen versus anastrozole. So all these nowadays we are using, if the patient is taking tamoxifen, we can change, if not responding, we can change into the patient to the letrozole. So the trial shows that if the patient which is taking tamoxifen now started on letrozole, has a major benefit. 4 months benefit was shown. These trials, this chart shows the comparison of different trials. Similarly, if the patient is taking tamoxifen and now we have transferred the patient to the exemestane or anastrozole, they also shown the benefit. This Bonneter and trial shows that the patient who was taking tamoxifen now had started on anastrozole shows the benefit of 8.5 versus 7 months treatment to progression. So there is around 1.5 months benefit. Similarly, the patient who was taking initially tamoxifen now has changed to exemestane, has also benefit in clinical benefit, and there is also benefit in median time to progression, around 4 months benefit. Now we are discussing what are the aromatase inhibitor, what we know about the aromatase inhibitor. All 3 aromatase inhibitors show higher response rate and tumor to progression compared to tamoxifen, which I have discussed in the previous slide. There is no difference in long-term overall survival. Efficacy of aromatase inhibitor after tamoxifen is comparable to efficacy of tamoxifen after aromatase inhibitor, which I have discussed. Initially we have started on aromatase inhibitor, then we have started on tamoxifen, is similar to if we have started on tamoxifen then started on aromatase inhibitor. Steroid inactivator like exemestane has effective after failure to non-steroidal aromatase inhibitor. Non-steroidal aromatase inhibitor are effective after failure to exemestane. Like if you start on anastrozole after failure of it has a good role. Nowadays fulvestrant is started after exemestane. It has also a very good role in metastatic hormone receptor breast cancer. Now, which I had discussed earlier about the fulvestrant. This is a very good drug in hormone receptor positive breast cancer in metastatic setting. this is a trial which is known as confirm study, in which the post-menopausal patients, ER positive patients, advanced disease patients were taken and were divided into two arms: fulvestrant in low dose 250 milligram plus placebo, and second arm in fulvestrant in high dose 500 mg. After that, results of the trial shows that the patient who has taken higher dose 500 milligram has a better response as compared to patient taken with 250 mg. So it is the conclusion is that the drug is used with higher dose 500 mg in day 1, day 15 and day 28, and has a very good benefit in overall survival. Now this is another trial in which we compared Falcon trial, in which fulvestrant is compared with the anastrozole in first line setting. These all drugs which I am discussing is in first line setting. The patient with hormone receptor positive and HER2 positive advanced patient which were randomized into fulvestrant 500 mg in 0, 14 and 28 days, and anastrozole daily 1 milligram per day. So the major benefit of this fulvestrant again compared to anastrozole is in bone metastasis, and the dose is 500 mg. So it has a benefit in bone metastasis, and it delays the progression of bone metastasis. The another trial which is SWOG 0226 study, in which anastrozole alone was compared with anastrozole plus fulvestrant in hormone receptor breast cancer. The patient which were taken in this trial is post-menopausal patient which was untreated and has a highly metastatic disease. The trial is well balanced, 1:1. It is divided into two arms: anastrozole 1 mg and anastrozole plus fulvestrant on day 1, followed by 250 mg on day 14 and day 28 days. It also shows a benefit in anastrozole plus fulvestrant arm. This I had discussed in the previous slide, that the benefit of anastrozole and fulvestrant is seen majorly in that arm, the 250 milligram arm plus anastrozole 1 milligram per day. The major benefit of the patient was in the patient who are de novo, where previously which were not treated, heavily treated. So the major benefit of anastrozole or fulvestrant was seen in those patients. Nowadays the major which I have discussed earlier, the CDK4/6 inhibitor were used in first line setting, which I have discussed in this chart. The Paloma trial, Mona Lisa 2 trial, Monarch trial, Mona Lisa 3 and Mona Lisa 7 trial, in which the palbociclib plus letrozole in Paloma trial was compared to letrozole alone, which shows around the benefit around 13 months benefit in progression-free survival. Similarly, in Mona Lisa trial, in which letrozole was plus ribociclib was compared against letrozole, which shows around 9 months benefit, and all these trials shows the benefit of CD4 kinase inhibitor against letrozole in postmenopausal hormone receptor positive patients. And there is also improvement in overall response rate. The major benefit of overall response rate was seen in Paloma 2 trial. It is around 55.3 months versus 44.3 months, and in Mona Lisa 3 trial 40.9 months versus 28.7 months. So ribociclib is effective in both premenopausal patient as well as in postmenopausal patient with a major benefit.
I think in this trial they compared letrozole
versus CDK4 inhibitor plus versus letrozole alone.
Yes,
Similarly,
letrozole plus
palbociclib. Similarly, in in Mona Lisa 3 trial, in first and second line setting, they compared ribociclib versus fulvestrant. So it shows a benefit alone. It shows the benefit of fulvestrant versus ribociclib. So in most of the patients now, it is the Now it is still trials are going in which the fulvestrant plus letrozole is compared to ribociclib, whether it is beneficial or not. Now this is the Kaplan-Meier showing all the comparison of Paloma 3 trial, Mona Lisa 2 trial and Monarch 3 trial. The major benefit which seen in Monarch 3 trial, and it goes beyond 24 months, around beyond 1 year, beyond 2 year, 2 year. Monarch 3 में sir it was comparison of fulvestrant plus ribociclib. Sorry, Monarch 3 abemaciclib versus letrozole or anastrozole. So it showed benefit of abemaciclib 59 versus 44 months. Now this is the subgroup analysis in which patients the CD4 kinase inhibitor benefited. In most this shows that in the Paloma 2 trial, which is palbociclib plus letrozole versus letrozole alone, though most of the patients were benefited, the postmenopausal patient around more than 65 years. Similarly, the most Asian population is benefited. The patient with poor performance status 1 or 2, which is were more benefited as compared to good performance status. Similarly, the patient which has a moderate disease, with high burden disease, is also benefited with palbociclib. The Mona Lisa 2 trial, which shows which is the ribociclib versus letrozole, is also has a major benefit in postmenopausal patient, and is also benefited in has a major benefit in hormone receptor positive patient. And the patient who were not treated previously, de novo patient, were also benefited from ribociclib. This is another study, Parsifal study. This is a recent study in which the palbociclib plus fulvestrant plus fulvestrant or letrozole is compared in hormone receptor positive patient, in which the two arms were there: palbociclib 125 mg for 3 weeks plus 1 week off, plus fulvestrant 500 mg on day 1, day 14 and day 29 compared to palbociclib. So in this there is benefit of palbociclib plus fulvestrant. So now the question arises whether we give palbociclib plus fulvestrant in first line setting in metastatic hormone receptor positive. Now this trial shows describes that we can give the palbociclib as well as fulvestrant, and it shows a major benefit in hormone receptor positive breast cancer. This Mona Lisa 3 study, which I have discussed earlier, which have postmenopausal patient, has ribociclib plus fulvestrant was taken in one arm and compared, which has showed major benefit. We have discussed earlier. Now the conclusion is, what is the conclusion of all these studies? The conclusion is that hormone receptor therapy improves survival in patients with hormone receptor metastatic breast cancer. Aromatase inhibitor improves PFS compared to tamoxifen by 4 to 5 months, which I have discussed in previously in all comparison of all studies. Fulvestrant is an effective agent in patients resistant to tamoxifen and aromatase inhibitor. So patients who are previously treated with tamoxifen, aromatase inhibitor, all blah blah blah, exemestane and all this, we have to go for fulvestrant 500 mg. The similar fulvestrant 500 mg preferred to 250 mg. The fulvestrant 250 mg equivalent to aromatase inhibitor in second line setting. Whether if there is patient, we have to take in second line patient previously treated, both are equal. Low dose fulvestrant as compared to letrozole, anastrozole or exemestane, all this. The high dose fulvestrant is better than aromatase inhibitor in second line setting in terms of progression free survival. So it is important, it does not improve overall survival, it is better in only PFS. So the fulvestrant plus aromatase inhibitor in first line meta has shown improvement in OS compared to anastrozole alone. So fulvestrant or if we give fulvestrant plus letrozole in first line has shown improvement in overall survival. So it is the major point in this presentation. We can give a first line setting fulvestrant plus anastrozole or letrozole or exemestane in freshly patient with metastatic de novo patient. CD4 kinase inhibitor with aromatase inhibitor has consistently shown improvement in progression-free survival compared to single-agent aromatase inhibitor. Recent updates of Mona Lisa 3 and 7 have shown improvement in overall survival also. Relative benefit is maintained across all subgroups regardless of the menopausal status, bone-only disease, visceral disease, de novo versus post-adjuvant therapy, number of disease sites. Similar outcome in first line of fulvestrant or anastrozole as endocrine partner for CD4 kinase inhibitor. This means that if we add CD4 kinase inhibitor with fulvestrant or CD4 kinase with aromatase inhibitor, has similar outcomes. So no need to go for higher. If we can continue CD4 kinase with letrozole is sufficient in hormone receptor positive metastatic breast cancer. Now the question arises: is there is a subset of patients who will do well with aromatase inhibitor alone, endocrine naive patient, low volume disease or low tumor burden disease. So what is the management in those patients? Now recent trials are going. If there is low burden disease, single mets in single skeletal mets or two skeletal mets, what we should prefer? We should go for aromatase inhibitor, we should go for CD4 kinase inhibitor, we should go for all exemestane, anastrozole. What is the so recent trials are going, but at present we should go for single agent hormone like letrozole or tamoxifen in low burden disease. Now which I have discussed, this is the same slide. In second line setting, what we have to prefer? In second line setting, I will discuss in later in more seminar, but this is a trial with the comparison in Paloma 3, Monarch 2 or Monarch 3, what we should prefer in second line setting in patient. Now according to this, the Monarch 2 study in which fulvestrant is compared to abemaciclib, in which there is benefit of 16.4 months versus 9.3 months, we should prefer, if the patient is affording, then we should go for fulvestrant or CD4 kinase inhibitor.